Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for those of you finding your way back here. And this evening, we're going to talk about White Sage Tarot. This is a relatively new deck from Theresa Hutch. I'll show you the box. Here's the cover of the box. And we'll look at this deck from both just a straight up tarot deck perspective, as well as looking at the elements of the chakras, which she has woven in throughout each of the cards. The deck comes with a little white book, and so this truly is a little white book. It's just a few pages, a few staple bound pages, so you get a really short description for each of the cards. There's a little bit about the intention for the deck on the front page as well. If you go to Theresa's website, you can also print a PDF. So I've printed this PDF and marked it up, and I thought what I would do is I would flip the camera and we can have a look at the PDF as well as the cards side by side. I don't want to do two walkthroughs of the deck, so I've organized the cards into chakras, and I thought we would do it that way. So starting with the Root Chakra and looking at the cards that have been placed in that position, and then going through the cards in that manner. All right, so let's have a look at the cards first of all as a straight up tarot deck. Looking at a few of the minors, first of all, we have the aces here. So Ace of Swords as swords, cups as coffee cups or teacups, and the wands are pussy willows, and the pentacles are sand dollars. So very minimalist, soft, pretty. There is a copyright. I don't know if you can see it right here. It says copyright Theresa Hutch. And the aces are all a gray background. And then when we move into the other cards, there is a slight variation in the backgrounds. But it does depend on the scene that's being depicted. So we have the sand dollars here, and then we have the sky. But there does seem to be a lot of pinks with the cups. So these are the fours, the Four of Swords, Four of Cups, Four of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. If you can hear that snoring in the background, that's my dog. And then we have the sixes. So very pippish minors. If you like that kind of a deck, if you like the soft colors, working with numerology. I mean, there is some illustration. So the Six of Pentacles here, we have the balance. Three sand dollars on each side of the weight. Yeah, very soft, very pretty, and the ribbon element is very strong in the cards. So if you are not going to be working with the chakras, it may be distracting because you'll always be wondering, why is that ribbon purple? Or if you can get past that, then for sure, beautiful, beautiful minors. All right, and then I thought we'd have a look at some of the quartz. So for the pentacles, we have elephants, which makes sense. A heavier earth grounded animal. Here is the beautiful king with his pentacle on his part of his headdress, and the queen, the motherly queen, and then the younger ones. So page knight, queen, and king. For the cups, we have otters. There's your page of cups, knight of cups. So if you're okay with animals with headdresses, I think pretty much all of the animals are dressed in this deck. And there's your queen and king of water. For the quartz, for wands and swords, I thought the animals, I'm not sure if the animals
work. So for wands, we have the birds. So there's your Queen of Wands, King. And then your Knight and Page of Wands. So I would expect the birds to be with the suit of swords, the suit of air. And we have wild cats for the swords. So again, the wild cats I would associate with the element of fire personally, but we have those for the for the suit of swords. So these three are all facing right. I just noticed that. I didn't stop to look at the facings for these. A little better for the elephants. So some of the elephants are facing different directions. Okay. And then when it comes to the majors, we have quite a variety of animals and other things. So here's your High Priestess, the cat. Very simple. There's nothing else except for the blue that she is sitting on. And then we have two seahorses for the lovers. For strength, we have a bear. 11, justice. So we have scales here. We have a heart on one side and a feather on the other. And it's funny, this looks more like, it looks like a scooter handle to me, or something like that. And beautiful death card, moving through the tunnel here, moving to the light through the change. The Tower. In the water. Almost looks as if the Tower is in one of the cups. And the Star, we have sage, and then the smoke from the sage circling up around the Star. So the purification, the promise, the hope, this is quite a nice card actually. I love the illustration. And we do have an Egyptian kind of theme on a couple of the majors. So this is the Moon card. So quite a variety of images with the majors, and you'll get an opportunity to see more of those as we look at the chakras. I mentioned the PDF, so I will refer to that from time to time. So this is the PDF that is available on her website, and it has more details than the little white book that comes with the cards. And so on page 3, she starts the description of the minors. And you can see I've made notes here. And where I've got writing is where I have a different thought about the ribbon color, the chakra placement for the card. And so there's just a little bit more than you get in the little white book for each of the cards. And she goes through the minors first. And then on the last page, last 2 pages, we have the majors. So there's the last 3 pages, we have the majors. So for each major, we have this much. And so she covers reversed descriptions as well, too. So I will be referring to that PDF from time to time. Also in her book, she talks about, she does refer to Anodea Judith's first chakra book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. This is a really good reference if you don't have a chakra book. She does integrate Western psychology with the Eastern chakra system, and it is a really, it's a good read. It's a good book to have on hand. One of the nice features of this book is there are quite a few charts. So if you're a chart person, you get lots of comparisons and It's nice to, if you like that kind of visual. This book, let me just see when this book first came out. It's quite an old book. And I know she's written books since, chakra books since. So this is 2004. Now, as some of you are aware, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm trained in yoga. I have done some study with my guru in India as well too. And I have done quite a bit of training in chakras. And if you are looking for an excellent book on the chakras, I would recommend this book probably instead, or in addition to, or as further study. So this book called Kundalini Tantra by Swami Satyananda Saraswati is, well, it's even older, came out in 1984. But I just wanted to show you the contents of this book. So in the second part of the book is when he starts to look at the chakras. And so we have more of a yogic perspective in how the chakras fit into the teachings of yoga and tantric yoga, specifically with working towards a yoga practice. So we have, the way this book is set up is we have background information on what is Kundalini yoga, what is Tantra yoga, and you know what all that means. And then we have a chapter on each of the chakras. And then this is really the meat of the book. Just make sure that you can see this. Here, this is really the meat of the book. So for each of the chakras, there are exercises and practices for each of the chakras. This was a practice that I did over the course of a year, many years ago. And I flew to an ashram and met with my teacher. And so we spent one extended long weekend working on the practices for each of these chakras. And then I came home and we did homework, and then we met up again a month later. And so spent a whole year going kind of through these going through these exercises. And then it was many years later when I did my Kriya Yoga course. This is something that you probably wouldn't want to do without an experienced yoga teacher, but it really gives you a true yogic perspective on the chakras. There also is a publication, I believe, for each of the chakras, so you can get a smaller book, and these are written by the disciples of Swami Satyananda. So this one is by Rishi Nityabuddhananda, and he may have written all of them, I'm not sure. I think I have 3 or 4 of them. This is the one for Manipura Chakra, so for the solar plexus. And so you can have this, you know, series of books on the chakras. And it is, these are really beautiful books, especially if you know that you have work to do in one particular chakra. And then, you know, these are excellent. You can order them online. So that's kind of a little bit of my background and where I'm coming from. And what I'm going to do right now is just pause the camera, and I'm going to put the cards back in order according to how Theresa Hutch has organized them. I made up this little Excel spreadsheet here, so you can see that these are the cards that she has used a pink ribbon for Root Chakra. These are the cards that have an orange ribbon for, I'm looking for the English name, for the sacral chakra, and for the solar plexus, and quite a few cards for the Heart Chakra. And she's got all of the 2s here, I'm guessing, because the 2s are about balance, and Heart Chakra is about balance. So Heart is bringing together the teachings of the bottom 3 and the top 3, and so this is really the balancing point of the chakras. So she's got that there. And then for Throat Chakra, these are the cards she's chosen. for Agnya or Agya Chakra, for Third Eye Chakra. These are the cards. And then she has a few for Sahasrara as well too, so Crown Chakra. One thing I will probably repeat, but I'm going to say here, is that everything that I have learned through my studies with the chakras is that if I were doing a deck, if I was doing organizing, some teachings and a book, I would not have any practices here. I would not have any cards here. And the reason for that is that I truly believe the healing work, the stuff that we have to work through is primarily in the lower chakras. And indeed, there are things we have to learn and purify and heal here. But if we are able to do this work, then quite naturally, quite automatically, this chakra will begin to open up. I really don't think that any cards belong in this column here. This is not something that most people in this lifetime will ever achieve, and kind of just a different way of thinking. But for me to have any cards here is kind of odd. So I'll talk more about that later when we go through the individual cards. So I'm just going to pause and reorder, and we'll start with the Root Chakra. Okay, so here we have 13 cards for the Root Chakra, for the Muladhara Chakra. I'll start with the 4 aces. So Theresa has placed all 4 aces in the Root Chakra, which intuitively you think would make sense because aces being the beginnings, being foundation. But the energy of each of these chakras is slightly different, and I'm not sure that I would place them there. So let's begin with the Ace of Pentacles. She has this beautiful sand dollar with the pink ribbon woven through. So the pink ribbon represents the Root Chakra. So the color of red associated with the base chakra. She also has some different keywords than a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So for example, in the Ace of Pentacles, she has a comment here. It's good to keep your material possessions to a minimum and find the joy in the simple things like flowers cut from your yard. There is no mention of new beginnings in her description of this card. Of all the aces, I think this is the one that does belong in the Root Chakra. Excuse me. And then we have the Ace of Wands, so representing fire and creativity. And she does speak to this in her description as well. And so for me, creativity, fire, the beginnings, birthing new ideas. This very much is a second chakra kind of energy. So I'm not quite sure why this was placed in the Root Chakra. The other place where this would be the birth of fire, right? The birth of the solar plexus. So I would definitely either place this card in Chakra 2 or alternatively Chakra 3. And then she has the Ace of Swords, which of course is the beginning, new ideas, a focus on communication, an opportunity to kind of cut through cut through the bullshit. This is really about charging ahead. Very much a similar energy to the Knight of Swords, but the pure potential of the suit. And remember that with all of these aces, we're looking at pure unharnessed potential. And I know I spoke to that the other day when I was looking at the manga tarot, just to remember with the aces that we do embody all of the characteristics of all of the suits. So if there was one chakra that embodied that embodied the oneness, that would definitely be the Crown Chakra, not the Root Chakra. So just a few thoughts there. So for the Ace of Swords, I'm not going to do this for every single card, but I'm just looking to what she has here. So new mental clarity. So definitely she does look to this one as new beginnings, new opportunities. And just the word clarity, for me, this speaks and screams Third Eye Chakra. So clarity is mental focus, clear sight, clear vision. So what is this doing down in Root Chakra? I am not sure, other than it is an ace. And then we have Ace of Cups. So this is a very emotional kind of ace. Lots of unharnessed emotion. And I really like that expression to, I really like the expression emotion, energy equals energy in motion. So that kind of does not speak to the root chakra. And I'm just going to refer to her notes here for the Ace of Cups before I carry on here. So she does indicate new beginning for this one. So for all except for the Ace of Earth, she does address the new beginnings. And she says this latte is a reminder of the heart-pounding sweetness of an espresso blended with care. Keep your heart open to new emotional connection. And so when I think of opening to joy, opening to new emotional connection, this is very much second chakra kind of energy. So, again, the reason I think she placed this as a pink ribbon is because it is a number 1. And here we move to the Five of Pentacles. So 3 of the 5s she places in the solar plexus area, which makes perfect sense. And this Five of Pentacles she places here at the root, which also makes perfect sense. So 5 of Pentacles is all about the issues related to the root chakra. It's about the survival, the base level instincts. So home, hearth, shelter, money, food, that kind of thing. And so that totally fits here. And so that is in just the right place. And then we go to 8 of Cups. So 8 of Cups is the card of moving on emotionally. She's got the cups stacked here with one of them falling off. Traditionally, a person is walking away in a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So how does this fit into the chakra system? How does this fit in with emotions? And why would this be placed possibly in the root chakra? Theresa says, these cups are precariously stacked, with one sure to crash land on the ground. Make preparations and go with the flow. Destruction and creation go hand in hand. The reason this fits really well with the root chakra is part of the bringing the root chakra into balance is having the ability to come and go from your foundation. So to come and go from your tribe, from your family. All right, a quick change of location. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, so I'm going to get this done today. So as I was saying, the 8 of Cups is why it fits so well in with the root chakra is it's about bringing that chakra into balance by being at ease with coming and going from the tribe. So what that means is, for example, let's look at like Christmas holidays or something like that. It's about not dreading going back into the family or avoiding the family or the group of people that represent the place that you came from. It's about finding the comfort and the peace and the honesty and the everything that it takes to not only be a part of and be proud of and understand your tribe, but also, being able to leave and be your own and do your own thing. So there's this tremendous amount of growing up and balance, and to bring this chakra into balance is huge, and it takes a great deal of work. And a lot of people really get stuck here, and it can be a very difficult thing to process. So anyway, kind of a long comment on the 8 of Cups. And then we have the 9 of Wands. So 8 wands standing upright, and then 1 crossing the other 8 with the pussy willow in focus. So we have a card here of courage. There's a sense of accomplishment. There's a little bit of success to this card, as well as being battle weary. And in her PDF, she refers to sometimes we have to go against the grain. It takes a lot of courage to stand out from a crowd, especially about matters that are part of societal norm. And that makes perfect sense for the root chakra. So I'm good with leaving that in that position. Then we have the Nine of Swords. So traditionally thought of as the nightmare card. And why would this be placed at root chakra? Well, I actually kind of like this here. The whole issue with nightmares and the idea of fear. Fear is very much root chakra kind of work. And that is just makes it perfect sense here. Interesting that the ribbon looks like a rose in the center of the Nine Swords. And just out of curiosity, right, she says your sensitive heart floats in the middle of this card as the swords enter in. This card is about your internal psychological state more than your experience in the world. She has some really good quotes actually throughout this whole PDF. And then we go to the quartz for the root chakra. She has the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Swords. That's it. So just those two. So why would these two be about base chakra issues? Well, the Knight of Pentacles traditionally is the knight that moves the slowest. And so energetically speaking, that would make sense that the Knight of Pentacles is there. And the King of Swords, if there were a king that had issues with the tribe, issues with releasing control, I tend to go think third chakra, but you know, it kind of makes sense that they are, both of those are there. And then the majors for the root chakra are the Fool, the Hanged Man, and the Tower. So we are looking here at foundation. We're looking at all of the issues related to the roots. So security, being grounded, and that kind of thing. We have, I guess, the Fool. It makes sense. It's the beginning of a journey, not knowing where you're going. And this is in bringing, as I mentioned earlier, bringing root chakra into balance. That's very much a part of that kind of thing. Hanged Man would be the kind of the evolution of the Fool experience. So with some time to regroup and looking at it from a new perspective. So this, you know, would be a second loop of going back and starting and doing work with the Muladhara chakra. The Tower, again, right, we've had a huge shakeup and we need to go back and kind of rethink and perhaps look at our journey again from a new level. So those all kind of, you know, work there. And then moving on to the not the solar plexus, the sacral chakra. The cards have orange ribbons. So 3 of the 4 fours are here at the second chakra. So 4 being a foundation number. Why would these be placed here? And the 4 that is not here is the 4 of Wands, which she has placed at the third eye chakra. So 4 of Pentacles, what is that about? Foundation, for sure. So this can be about accumulation of wealth. It can also be about clinging. And so I'm not sure, again, why this is here. We're looking at relationships. We're looking at creativity, birthing of new ideas in the sacral chakra. So 4 of Pentacles is about clinging, which is the shadow side of the heart chakra. And it's also very much about survival. So this could either go towards the first chakra or the heart chakra, which is the 4th chakra. And then we have 4 of Cups, which is extremely emotional. So that fits well here. When we think of depression, also we go to 3rd chakra because that would be the shadow side of one of the shadows of the 3rd chakra. And then we have 4 of Swords. And this one is a difficult card to know exactly where to place. So this is very much a card of healing after the trauma of the 3 of Swords. And to tell you the truth, I'm not sure where I would place this card. Perhaps it would be in Heart Chakra. But again, I'm not really sure. And then we have 6 of Wands and 8 of Wands. So with heart, again, we're looking at creativity, we're looking at relationship, we're looking at sexual energy. We're looking at giving oneself permission to live in joy. We're also looking at addictions, any kind of self-sabotage behaviors, that kind of thing. So do the 6 and the 8 of Wands kind of fit into that? Referring to the PDF, Theresa talks about the 6 of Wands as tapping into your dharmic flow. And if we look at this as traditionally a success card, so in order to have success, we have to be at ease with our dharma. Dharma being our path, being our duty, something like that. That's a yogic term. So it does kind of fit here. That's really nice. All of the karmic patterns sit at the 2nd chakra. So that actually works kind of nicely. And then the 8 of Wands, it's about change. She talks here about gliding with ease. The struggles and the battles of the 7 of Wands are now in the past. Get ready for swift change. I'm okay with leaving this one here at the 2nd chakra. The court cards for the 2nd chakra, we have the Page of Cups, the Queen of Wands. And here we are looking at sexuality, and we're looking at emotional healing. So we have the rookie, right? The novice of emotion here. And here we have our fiery Queen of Wands. Again, I wish she were a cat instead of a bird, but there we go. The energy of the Queen of Wands sits really nicely here with the feminine energy. So 2nd chakra energy is very much a divine feminine, and that fits nicely there. For the court cards, we have the Empress, so the same kind of comment I have for that. And then we have the Devil. And again, that fits perfectly because 2nd chakra and looking at addictions and any kind of self-sabotage behavior is one of the things that we all have to work through with 2nd chakra. And then going to Manipura, so the solar plexus. Here we have 12 cards. So Manipura is a very, again, the lower 3 chakras are the hardest as far as the work that needs to be done. And she has placed the 5s here. I'm just checking my little PDF. 3 of the 5s here, right? We have the 5 of Pentacles in Muladhara Chakra, and the other 3 5s are here. 5s being challenging cards for, let me take these out, in the tarot. There's a lot of ego in these 5s. And so to have them here at the solar plexus makes perfect sense. So we're dealing with my will versus thy will. We're dealing with will in general. We're dealing with the balancing of this, this fire center. So to have the 5s there, that works really well. And we have 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands, and 7 of Swords. Again, these are kind of challenging, very ego-based cards. So I like that they are placed there at the solar plexus. The 6 of Pentacles, however, is, for me, it's a card of giving and receiving. It's a card of balance, and I would place that at the Heart Chakra for that reason. We also have 8 of Pentacles, which again is a card very much of balance. It's a card of finding your way. It's a card of mentorship and redefining who you are. It's about identity. So I guess that's why that is here, because the I-ness, the identity, that kind of work is part of the solar plexus. And the court cards for this suit, we have 2 knights. We have the 2 fiery knights, right? So the two impulsive knights here. So that fits 100%. We have the Emperor here, so we have that strong masculine energy. we have the fire, the energy of the Chariot, and the Sun. So I quite like, yeah, I think she did a really good job with the cards for the yellow ribbons. And then we move on to the Heart Chakra. She has 15 cards. That's a lot of cards at the Heart Chakra. Okay, so we have, I think I mentioned this earlier, all of the twos are here. And I'm assuming that she's placed the twos here because twos are about balance. Twos are about harmony. The green color represents the grief side of the Heart Chakra. So working through really the trauma and working through practices such as forgiveness and gratitude in order to heal the heart space. So I am, for the most part, perfectly fine with having all the twos here. Two of Swords definitely could be in the Third Eye Chakra. And Two of Wands, that could be at the solar plexus, because that's also about finding your identity and stepping forward. And then we have Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Ten of Wands, and Ten of Swords at the heart. Whoa. All right. So Seven of Cups, I'm going to say, what are you doing there? Seven of Cups is often about delusion, illusion. It's about not seeing clearly. So this is the shadow side of the Third Eye Chakra. Ten of Wands is the element of fire, completely out of balance. So that is going to be the shadow side of the third chakra. The Ten of Swords is about, we talked about the Nine of Swords already, I believe. So the Ten of Swords, well, it's about endings. It's about finally releasing the energy of all that you've been building up with your mind, and your worst nightmare is kind of over. So why is that placed at the heart? Theresa refers to sudden change or loss, and that most of this is out of your control. My thoughts here were that this card is about deep purification. And when I look at purification, the purification refers to the Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra. The reason I think she's placed this here is because this is about grief and sorrow, and it's about healing the heart space. And then the Seven of Pentacles is about patience. It's about kind of watching what has happened, observing. This to me is speaking Third Eye Chakra. This is about learning to step back and to see the big picture and to give yourself space and time. Of course, there's lots of different ways to look at this. I'm not saying that, my thoughts are the right way, but I'm just giving you a different perspective on some of these. So we have Page of Wands, Page of Swords. So 2 pages and 2 queens here. So we're at the heart space. We have the 2 kind of impulsive pages, and we have the 2 softer queens. And wouldn't it be nice too, we've got the green here. We've got a little bit of green there. I guess we have green and green. I meant to look at the other court cards to see if there was the chakra colors on each of the court cards. I don't know. It gets really tricky with the energy of the court cards. So the Queen of Pentacles, you would think, would have the lower 3 chakras. She would be a perfect example of the lower 3 chakras and the upper 3 chakras in balance. Same with the Queen of Cups if she is here. So I'm gonna say that does make sense. These 2, because they're kind of novices in the emotional department, with the experience of all that represents the heart chakra, I'm not sure that I would place any pages at the heart chakra. because they definitely wouldn't have been through enough to be dealing with those kind of issues. So yeah, I wouldn't have them there. For the court cards, we've got Hierophant, Lovers, and Strength. And we do not have any green ribbons here, so you would have to know that these were, or have your PDF handy, because there's no green ribbons here, and he has a blue ribbon, it looks like to me, or a gray ribbon. So do these represent the Heart Chakra? I'm okay with leaving the Lovers there. That works for me. The Hierophant is very much either Throat Chakra or Third Eye Chakra. At least that's how I would see that. And the Strength card would definitely be Manipura Chakra, solar plexus. Some of these, I was going to say suits. Some of these I think are better done than others. And then we move to the Throat Chakra, which is the blue ribbon. And there are 11 cards here. And Theresa's placed all the 3s at the Throat Chakra. So the throat is the mirror of the second chakra. So it's about purification of all of the issues in the second chakra. 3s is about, well, you know, it's about the Trinity. It's about divine energy. If we're looking at that, the sense of completion, the sense of, again, I guess, okay, I'm gonna say yes, because if this is about purification, these 3s are about a step towards completion, a step towards purification. And so these cards all have, you know, that kind of energy. And again, I think it's a big task what she's tried to do here, to fit each of the minor and major cards into a chakra position. The other card here is the 8 of Swords. And I'm going to actually say this would be shadow for Third Eye Chakra. And then we have 3 court cards here, 2 kings and a queen. Queen of Swords, I like that she's here. So this is about truth, learning about speaking your mind, speaking authentically. We have 2 kings here. That works really well because they are masters of their element. They've been through a lot, and they've been through some, you know, the process of, I'm going to say, purification again, and also the ability to communicate authentically, I hope. And for the majors, we have Hermit, Justice, and Temperance. Temperance works really well here. Justice is about balance. Interesting, we have a heart here, and she hasn't placed this with the Heart Chakra. The Hermit is about kind of taking time and regrouping and finding your way. So I want to look at where she's placed Hanged Man and Judgment. Hanged Man, I think we've already looked at. So Hanged Man was at Muladhara. Hermit, she's got at Vishuddhi, and Judgment, she's got at the Crown Chakra. So if this is the Hermit is before the Hanged Man, and I would place this one, I think, at the third eye. Justice could go here, it could go at the heart. This one works really nicely here as a healing energy. Also has, you know, a little bit of heart energy in the Temperance card too, for the notion of balance. And then we go to the Third Eye Chakra, which is the purple ribbon. And there are, for the third eye, 9 cards. And there's quite a mix of cards here. So these cards you would think would be about clear sight. Clear sight and intuition. And we have 4 of Wands. Okay, I don't have much to say. I would place 4 of Wands at Root Chakra. or Heart Chakra. We have Six of Swords, a card of moving on, a card of insight. So this is really nice here. I like that. That's very cool. Six of Swords. We have Six of Cups. And I also like this here, and I'll tell you why. Because this card has a lot of different aspects. And particularly for the shadow side of this card, where we're kind of living in the past and dwelling with, you know, kind of over nostalgia kind of feelings. If we are able to take some time to do some exercises for the third eye and begin to develop our discernment, then we're able to work through the issues of the Six of Cups. So that's cool that that's there. And then we have 3 court cards. We have the Knight of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. If there was any court cards that I would place at the third eye chakra, what would they be? It would be courts that represent being highly intuitive. So these would be perhaps the Queen or the King of Cups, and the ability to see clearly. So maybe the Queen, even the Queen or the King of Swords. I have no idea why any of these are here. And then she's placed for the third eye chakra, the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Moon. I am okay with the Moon here, but Moon also screams second chakra and fifth chakra. So we have the water element, the lunar, the sacred feminine energy at 2 and 5, and she's placed this at 6. The Wheel of Fortune is about change. So I'm okay with that here, learning to kind of step back and take a bigger perspective. That makes sense. We have kind of the rookie magician here at the third eye, and this is very much more of a, to me, solar plexus kind of energy. If I was gonna, I would put High Priestess here. High Priestess would sit really well at third eye chakra. So those are some of my thoughts on the first 6 chakras. And as I mentioned in another part of the video, she has placed a few cards at the Crown Chakra. And we'll just look at those. So she's got 2 9s and 2 10s. And I think that these are placed here to represent a sense of completion. And I get that, but as I mentioned earlier, I think that from everything that I've learned, this kind of energy, there's still so much to process. If we look at these individually, 9 of Cups traditionally is the card, you know, getting everything that you want. So this would definitely be positive heart chakra energy. 9 of Pentacles is about security and being totally comfortable in family and no issues with survival. So that definitely is positive root chakra. 10 of Cups is positive energy for 1, 2, 4. Yeah. And the 10 of Pentacles, again, because we're looking at the earth element, we're looking at no issues with root chakra. And also there is a connection between root chakra and third eye chakra. So this could also represent purification of the third eye chakra. There are no court cards here, but there are 4 majors, actually 5 majors that have been placed at the Crown Chakra. So High Priestess, which I said I would place at third eye, Death, Star, Judgment, and the World. And I kind of get why they're here, because there's a connection to the divine with the Crown Chakra. If we are actually going through a death experience and seeing the light, this could also be third eye chakra as well too. But I understand why she's placed these here. There needs to be a tremendous amount of trust, right? You've moved out of the tower, moving toward the star. And there is definitely a sense of kind of divinity with these 4 cards. So I understand why they're placed here, but you heard what I had to say about that before. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this and it's given you some thought, given you some food for thought about this deck and about working with the chakras. And sometimes I feel that deck creators have these really good ideas about how to introduce a new aspect to a deck, and then they start the process and it works for the most part, but then there's parts of it that doesn't work. And I think for my final few comments, one is that I wish the majors were more cohesive in their art style, or the subjects actually that were in the pictures. I definitely appreciate what Theresa has tried to accomplish here. I don't think that it entirely works. And unfortunately, because the aspect of the ribbons is so strong in the minors, that it may be hard to use this deck without looking to the chakras. And on a positive note, I love the colors. I like that it's a borderless deck. I love the feel of the cards, the way that they look all together on the table. So let's gather them all up and let's just pull a couple cards for a message. These cards aren't super smooth. I don't know what it is. Hard to describe. I don't know what the GSM is on these. So in working with this deck, what is the most important thing to keep in mind? That is my question. So we have Page of Swords, representing a willingness to have new ideas. We have Five of Wands, and we have the Sun. So there may be some struggle in working with this deck and the deck finding a voice. But if I am able to spend some time and persevere and maybe do a bit of journaling with the deck, that, the Sun card is a very optimistic card. So I think the potential of this deck is definitely there. It's going to take some time and some ingenuity and some patience. There's also an essence, there's a lot of fire here. In order for this deck to work with me or you or whomever, it's going to be important to not struggle with it. It has a voice. It has a clear voice. It has a young voice. And so it may very well take some time to find that voice and to develop that. But I think in the end that this deck will serve. And for me personally, I'm very happy to give it that time that it deserves to find its voice and find its place in my collection. So thank you for being with me here today. I look forward to your comments. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.